Okay, so the last 2 days you've been talking about finding the actual and estimating multiplication problems. Okay, so today we're going to do some lengthy notes because this is a little bit difficult. We're doing estimating division with a 2-digit divisor. Okay, so this is going to be division with regular long division as well as estimating. Okay, something I do want to go over is just some of the vocabulary because I think that you guys get lost in the vocabulary of things. And so, for instance, if I have this problem, okay, my answer is this, and you don't have to worry about doing it right now, but I'm just talking about, okay, I don't even know if this is the right answer or not. I'm just showing you what the problem is, okay, in the vocabulary. So again, don't correct me if this is wrong, okay? This is what you call the divisor. This is the number that you're going to be dividing by. Okay? In here, I remember it's always the dividend. Okay? I remember inside, dividend. I remember this is inside. Okay? And here is your quotient. Okay? And you always want to read inside out. And so you're reading it just like you see it this way, and we've seen problems written this way, and you see it is this right here. You've got this right here, 8,651 divided by 23 is, you hear me talking about the vocabulary, is 367 remainder 3. Okay? So we're bringing it inside out. 8,651 divided by 23 is 367 remainder 3. That's how you're reading it. Okay? So, vocabulary. Some of the vocabulary that you're going to see today is estimating. We talked about it. Estimating is rounding without rules. Making as many numbers end in 0 as possible. Okay? Another one you're going to talk about, and you're going to hear me talk about, is compatible numbers. Okay? Compatible numbers are choosing or selecting numbers that are really easy to work with. Okay? Finding numbers that are easy to work with. Okay? So you're going to say choosing or selecting numbers when I say easy, I mean just like when you're being able to cover up those zeros and you're multiplying and doing 4 times 3 and being able to write 12 and however many zeros. I mean, I'm talking like when you're talking compatible numbers, very, very fast to solve, that are easy to work with. I'm going to go ahead and turn the page just because I'm running out of room and it's easier for me to write. So let's talk about an example of compatible versus not compatible. Okay? This is an example of compatibles. Sorry. Okay, these are compatibles. So let's look at 250 divided by 5. Okay, well, I can tell you why 250 divided by 5 is compatible is because I looked at it 25 and 5. We know that 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, so let me go take a step back. Let's say that the problem was this. Okay, so 263 divided by 4. I chose this because this is 263. I could say 250. Again, it's rounding without rules. It's not rounding perfectly. I changed this to a 5. Okay, that's fine. Another one you could have done is left that alone. Well, what do I know? What's a multiple of 4? 28. How many times? Because 4 make 28? 7. Okay, so again, working with what I've got here, because I can't do this problem in 10 seconds or less. I can do this problem in 10 seconds or less. I can do this problem, because again, guess what? I have zeros, so all you have to do is cover up your zeros. Well, I know what 28 divided by 4 is. I know what 25 divided by 5 is. Do I know what 26 divided by 4 is, or 263 divided by 4 is? No, I don't. Okay? You could do, you could even do something like this. 270 divided by 3. Why? Because I'm looking here and I know that 27 is divisible by 3. Again, I'm not changing, not really going too far away from this actual and actual either. Okay? Again, estimating, you don't have to be perfectly precise. You need to be somewhat in the range of your answer. Okay? Let's talk about the then polar opposite. What is not compatible? Not compatible numbers. Well, not compatible numbers can be simply this. Doing this, keeping this. 260 divided by 4. Going back is, can I divide 26 evenly by 4? And the answer is no. You can do 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 7 is 28, but not here. That is not compatible. Okay? Doing 260 divided by 5. Once again, 260 is not evenly, or 26 is not evenly divisible by 5. So again, working with numbers that are easy to divide, that's what you're really working on. So these are not compatible, these are compatible based on what we know about how we divide numbers. Okay? So now we're going to work on some examples. We're going to take our time. This is confusing. Okay? So we are going to just estimate. We're going to make compatible numbers, estimate, and then we'll divide. Okay? So let's start off with just a simple problem with a one-digit divisor. Okay? Let's do, let's say, 256 divided by 4. Again, reading it inside out. Okay? So, if I were to estimate or make these compatible numbers, there's a couple of options I can do. 256. Go ahead and if you want to round this to a certain number, that's fine. Keeping in mind, what numbers can I make this to be? I can make this to be a 3, a 4, or a 5. So keep that in mind. So if I know that this can either be a 3, 4, or 5, what can I change to this, or really right here, what can I change to it? Can 3 make 25? No. Can 4 make 25? No. Oh, 5 can make 25, for sure. All right, so if I want to keep my divisor, this is my divisor. If I want to keep make my divisor be a 5, then I can keep this. I want to make this a 0. Because can 25 25 be divided by 5 perfectly evenly? Yeah, because we know that 5 times 5 is 25. Okay? Now, another one I can look at. So, what if I were to change this and make this a 24? Does it go with my rounding rules? But can 3 make 24? Yes, it could. Can 4 make 24? Yes, it could. So you could do those as well. All of those would work. Okay, and then we said 3. Okay, all of those do. Every single one of them do. Okay, and then you just do the regular division. Okay. Okay, can 2 be divided by 4? No. Can 25 be divided by 4? Sure it can. How many times without going over? It'd be 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Subtract. Bring down my 6. Oh, look at this. It goes in there evenly. 16 is divided by 4. 4 perfect times. I also know that if I do not have a number, a remainder, that means this number is evenly divided by 4. So I could say 256 is evenly divided by 4. 64 times. I also can make fact families, okay, tying that in. So my fact family would be, if I were to want to look at it right here, I could do 4 times 64 is 256. Therefore, 64 times 4 is 6. Then I could get the inverse. The inverse is a fancy word for saying divide, okay, which is the opposite of multiplying. 256 divided by 4 is 64. 256 divided by 64 is 4. And that only works when I have no remainder, okay? All right, so now I know my answer is 64. Well, let's go over here and do the division over here on my estimating. How many times can 5 go into 25? 5. How many times can 5 go into 0? 0. How many times can 4 make 24? 6 times. How many times can 4 make 0? 0. 3 make 24? 8. 3 make 0? 0. And I know that I went super fast, but again, because you know your multiplication facts and you're going to know your division facts, shouldn't take you that long either. And again, the purpose of this is fast, fast, fast. This is not, because it doesn't go in there. It goes in there perfectly, but I don't know my 4 rules 64 times. Okay? So again, these are my numbers that I came up with rounding, or excuse me, estimating 50, 60, 80. My actual answer was 64. Obviously, this one was close. This wasn't too far, and this wasn't too far. All of these are acceptable. All of them are. Okay? All right, so we're going to do another one. All right, let's do one right here. Okay, again, practice reading this. 198 divided by 3. All right, so again, I have some options I can change. So I want to look. My options for this I could change would be 1, 2, 3, and 4. You know, it may not be 1. So 2, 3, 4. Maybe you could go and change one above and one below. Okay? So if I were to keep it, let's just say I were to keep it at 3. 3 can't make 19, but somewhere around 19 it can make. So let's start at 16. 3 times 5 is, no. 3 times 6, 3 times 6 is 18. That's close enough. So over here, and I could do 3. Okay? So let's try this. What about 4? 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. I think 4 times 5 is 20 is closer because 19 is closer. Okay, so then I could do 4 times 2, divided, or 200 divided by 4. Okay, could I go back to 2? Absolutely. 19 is an odd, so it's not divisible by 2. Okay, 18 is though. Again, you need to know your facts. Sorry, wrong color. So I could do 2 divided by 18. Could I do 2 divided by 20? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay? So then I go through and I can quickly solve it. 3 goes into 18 6 times. 3 goes into 0 0 times. 4 goes into 20 5 perfect times. 4 goes into 0 0. 2 goes into 18 9 perfect times. 2 goes in there 0 times. Again, if I'm going too fast, press stop. If you want to stop and predict, you want to solve this, pause, solve it, and then see if you're right. Okay? So then the actual amount, 3 goes into 19, 3 times 6 is 18, 3 times 7 is 21, so it's got to be 6. Who would have thought? Okay? All right, so then it goes in there, 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. Once again, I have no remainder, so therefore I can make a fact family with 3, 66, and 198. Okay? All of those. I can do multiplication and then division to get those. Okay? So again, making compatible estimates, actual answer. Okay? Should be with me so far. Okay. So now now we did division with a 1-digit divisor. Now we're going to step it up and do a division with a 2-digit divisor. Okay, so let's do, again, practice in reading and writing. 155 divided by 20. I was even nice and gave you a number ending in 0 here. Okay, so I look. Let's first look here. And this is something else I want us to do too. So we're going to do a couple of different things here, okay? Number one, I feel like I'm going to show you a trick here in a second. I'm just going to want you to do it the other way probably too, I think. Is go ahead and write like this, 155 divided by 20, okay? So 155 divided by 20. Well, I'm going to look here at my 2. Can 2 go into 15 perfectly? No. 2 can go into 14. 2 can go into 16. So then you ask yourself, if I were to change this to 16 or 14, 155 is closer to, I believe, 160 myself. Okay? So 160 is my estimate divided by 20. Okay, which is right here, 160 divided by 20. Okay. So this is where you're thinking to yourself, I don't know how to do this 2-digit divisor like this. So 20 goes into 16 how many times, and then how many times is 20? Okay, so this is my trick. Watch this. You're going to take, how many zeros do you see here? 1. How many zeros do you see here? 1. Hold off on, what do we do when we have zeros at the end of our number? We're going to cover them up. So I have really, what is my true problem? It's 16 divided by 2. What's 16 divided by 2? You should know this, 8. I'm going to take 1 0 minus 1 0 is no zeros. Watch this. Because here, if you did it this way, this is why I think this is horizontally is better when you're doing it instead of this way. Because you don't know, because 20 can't go into 16, so 20's got to go into 160. I already told you it was 8, but I can prove that. 8 times 20, so then you got to come over here and think about it like this. No. Okay, watch this, we're going to do it in a second. Okay, we're going to keep doing that. I know that's kind of a weird one. Watch here. 20 can't go into 15, so 20 can't go into 55, so 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160. Oops, I definitely know it's not 8, so I'm going to try 7. And do I know this? 20 divided by 7? You should. I know that's kind of small. You should. Cover up that 0. What's left? 2 times 7 is 14 with a 0. And remainder is 5. Look at my estimating. Look at my actual. Quite similar. Okay. Could I have done this being, we chose 55, we chose 160. What I said before is, what 2 can't go into 15 perfectly, but 2 can go into 14 and 2 can go into 16. So let's try that. Let's go ahead and try that and say, let's try it both ways. 140 divided by 20, or just like I told you before, 140 divided by 20. Again, this is kind of hard. 20 can't go into 14, but 20 can go into 140. Don't really know how to do that. So let's try this. Remember what I said. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Got 1 0 and 1 0. 1 minus 1 is nothing. So nothing goes here. Okay, again, look at my answer. Both of them. So this one would have been fine, and this one would have been fine as far as your estimating is concerned. Okay, just hear me out. We're going to keep going. This is a little bit difficult, but it's all right. Okay, so now I've got, this is my new problem. Use another color marker, green. Okay, 7,052 divided by 81. Okay, looks huge, doesn't it? So, because you're going to have to estimate and do the actual. Again, estimating is smart because I know it's about 8 or it's about 7, because you could do it quickly. There's my actual. Okay, so before we start this, let's look. Okay, so you want to look, you've got a 70, and you want to look here. We've got an 8. Can 8 times something get me close to 70? Well, I know 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 9 is 72. So I don't have to change this except to an 80, and this could be 72. So I could come over here. I could say, again, you can write it like this. Working with zeros, as many zeros as you want, okay? Or like I told you before, you might want to do this. I'm going to show you that trick. Okay? Show you that trick. 80 going divided by 7, 72 divided by 80, 720 divided by 80, and then so on. Or, look right here, 72 divided by 8. 72 divided by 8 is what? It's 9. How many zeros? 2. How many zeros? 1. What's 2 minus 1? 1. The answer is 90. Because it goes in there 90 times. 9 times 80 is 720. 0, bring down my 0. 80 goes into 0, 0 times. So right there, I have an estimate. I'm about 90. So then that helps me right here. That's going to help me figure out that I don't know my answer. Well, I'm going to try if 81 needs to go into, because 81 can't go into 7, 81 can't go into 70, so it's going to have to go into 705. So 81 times 8, I'm going to try 8. I'll tell you why. 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 8 is 64. Because if I were to try 8 times 1, 81 times 9, I know that 9 times 8 is 72, and that's too much. So that's why 81 times 9 for sure can't work. So 81 times 8 is 648. Subtract 6, that's going to be a 10. Now bar here, give me a 9. Make him a 15, and that is 7, 5, 2. Okay. Now how many times can 8 make 57? Well, I know that 8 times what can get me close to 57? 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 7 is 56. Let's try that. 8 times 7 is that. 50. Okay. Sorry, I should put my 7 up here. So my actual is 87, remainder 5. My estimate got me 90. Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn the page. I apologize. So, let's see. So I know that I only did give you one estimate. Let's do another one. Okay? Let's do another one. All right. Okay, let's just do the estimate before we do even the division. Okay, let's look at estimate. So I'm looking at the number 23 and the number 5. My options are changing it to 4, 5, or 6. Can 4 make 23? So can 4, let's see, 4 times 5 is 20, 4 times 6 is 24. Look, 24. So I could then change this to 40 divided by 2,400. Or what I said before was doing it this way, 2,400 divided by 40. Okay? Again, I could do another thing. 5. 5 can't make 23, but 5 can make 25. I know that's what you exactly said in your head, I hope. And then finally, a third and final one that you can do is 6. Because I could change it to 6, because 60 is pretty close to 58. It's 24, because you should know this. All right, so let's do these over here because this is so much easier when you're doing it this way. Again, we're only working on the estimate. 24 divided by 4 is what? 6. 2 circles, 2 zeros minus 1 0 is 1 0. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 2 zeros minus 1 0 is 1 0. 24 divided by 6 is 4. 2 zeros minus 1 0 is 1 0. Okay, so these are my estimates. So then you would do the long division. Okay, saying 28. Now look, 60, 50, 40. So I know that if it's a 2-digit thing, my answer is only going to be in these 2 digits. I've already set myself up and realized 60, 50, 40. My answer can only be one of those 3 numbers. So that's going to help you when you're multiplying. Okay? So 236, excuse me, let's try that again. 58 times 5, that's 40, 29. Too much. 58 times 4, right there. Okay? I've subtracted 45. 58 cannot go into 45. So, guess what? As huge as it is, we got a remainder of 45. All right. Keep up with me. I'm sorry this is a long lesson. It is going to be. We're going to do a couple of more if we have time. If not, we're going to go straight to the workbook. So be prepared. This is a time-taking. It does take a while. Keep faith. Just try to do these little things, and I'll keep working on it when we work in the workbook. Okay?
Okay, guys, go ahead and turn to page 80 in your workbook. Originally, we were taking notes in our notebook. Now I want us to go ahead and move into our book. Again, this lesson is only dedicated to making and creating compatible numbers, and you're going to be finding estimates. So in all honesty, today you're not going to even be doing real division. You're only going to be finding compatible numbers. And this is what we got going on right here. So the first one we originally have, again, you read it inside out. 154 is divided by 22. Okay, so they went ahead and just said, okay, well, if 22, let's look at 20. Let's change 22 to 20. So then I'm going to look right here. Obviously, 20 is not compatible with 15, or the number 2 is not compatible with 15, because 2 times 5 is 10, 2 times 7 is 14, 2 times 8 is 16. So again, instead of being 154, they changed it to the 14 and the 16. So once again, 14 divided by 2 is 7. 1 0 minus 1 0 is no zeros. So here again, it's 16 divided by 20. So again, we're looking at these two. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 1 0 minus 1 0 is nothing, or no zeros. Here, what can we make 68 to? So I would say 70, okay, for our first one. So what could I do? So 7 times what can get you close to 50? Well, 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 7 is 49. 7 times 8 is 56. So both of those 7 times 8 and 7 times 7 are great. So maybe I just want to do 49 and do 490. So again, what's left? Again, thinking about your zeros, not thinking about your zeros. 49 divided by 7 is 7. 1 0 minus 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0, which means no zeros. So just like I said, could I have done 560 divided by 70? Absolutely. 56 divided by 7 is 8. Okay? Both of those work as well. Okay, so now let's look over here. We're looking at a lot bigger number here. So 80. Let's just look at 81. What can I make 81 that would be easy to work with? And that would be 80. Again, it's a nice even number. So it ends with a 0. Okay, so now you got to think 8. Look at these two numbers. All right, so what can I get closest to 70 without going over? Well, 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 9 is 72. That would work, okay? Again, trying to make these so close and having as many zeros as possible, leaving me with really 72 minus 8. Excuse me, yes, 72 minus, divided by 8 is 9. So now here comes the pattern that I was talking about before. Here you got 2 zeros minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. So that's why my answer is 90. Okay, going back, I could make it 80 again and go a little bit farther down and make 6,400, leaving me with really 64 divided by 8 is 8. 2 zeros minus 1 0 is 1 0. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the top of 81. Same thing here. Got 19. Let's go ahead and make 19. Again, you can change it this way right here. I prefer doing it this way so you can do and look at your zeros. So what can I change if I'm going to do 2? Could I leave this as 22? Absolutely, I could leave this as 22. Okay, but again, I'm trying to make as many zeros as possible. Okay, I could have this as 220. Yeah, but couldn't it even be like this? Sure, I could. 200 divided by 20. Right here, how many times can 20 go into 20? Once. How many times does 20 go into 0? 0. Right here, 20 divided by 2 is, or excuse me, yes, 20 divided by 2 is 10. If I were to do 20, 1 0 minus 1 0 is no zeros. Right here, now you can always just disregard that, okay? So what can I make 25 to? I could go to 20 or I could go to 30. Either one is absolutely okay. Okay, so I'm going to do this on a piece of paper so you can kind of see. So if I were to change this to 30, what could I change this to? Looking at my 3, keeping in mind what my 3 is. Okay, so you got to think, can I go into 59? No. Can 3 go into 6? Yeah, make that 600. Again, then looking at it this way, 600 divided by 30. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 zeros minus 1 0. So what's 2 minus 1? 1 0. I could have done it up here the long way. 30 goes into 60 2 times. 2 times 30 is 60. How many times can 30 go into 0? 0. Again, making it compatible. Making and figuring out stuff that works together. Here, okay, this is another one. What can I change my 86 to? I could go up to 90. Okay, I could go down to 80, either one. So I'll do 2 of them. Again, I like doing it this way, so I'm going to do 90. So now I've got this 9. 9 times something cannot make 71. 9 times 7 makes 63. 9 times 8 is 72. There's my 72. So again, 72 divided by 9 is 8. There's 2 zeros and 1 0. 2 minus 1 is 1. Again, I'm going to come up here and write it and say, instead of changing 86 to 90, could I have just done it as 80? Sure. Again, 80 can't make 71. Excuse me, 8 can't make 71. 8 times 6 is 63. Excuse me, 64. 8 times 9 is 72. So again, I can still do 7,200 or 7,200. Again, 72 divided by 8 is 9. 2 zeros minus 1 0 is 1. Very simple. All right, so let's turn and look at page 82. Doing some more problems together before we look at some gold pages. Okay, number 18 says, a meteoroid travels 18 miles per second and is 2,863 miles away from the moon. Estimate how long it will take the meteor to reach the moon. So it's going per second, and it's that many miles per second. So, again, I apologize for how bad this is going to look. So it's 2,863 divided by 18. Again, what can I change my 18 to? Let's just look at it simply. 20. Super close to 20. Can 2 make 28? Well, yes, it could. Could this go up? And could this make what? Instead of being 200 and 2,800, can that be close to 3,000? Can 30 be divided by 2? How many times? 15. Here's my 2 zeros. Minus 1 0 is 1 0. Could I have left it as 2,800 divided by 20? Sure. 28 divided by 2 is, let's see, that is 19 times 2, 8. It's 30. So that's 14. 28 divided by 2 is 14. 2 zeros minus 1 0 is 1 0. What are my options here? I did 2 different estimates and I came up with 140 and 150. So my only option is going to be 150. Okay. Playground is 5,583 feet away from Jake's house. Jake runs 15 feet per second. What's the best estimate of the amount? All right, so look, all they're wanting is the formula. So let's look. So 5,583 divided by 17. Okay, let's look. So my problem is, what do I want to change first? I'm trying to look at my dividend first. Change that to 20. It's pretty easy. So then if I want to do that to 20, because look at your options. Your options are 20 and 10. What is 17 closer to, 20 or 10? It's definitely going to be 20. So you can go ahead and automatically mark that out. So then you just look here and you look. Can 5 be divided by 2 evenly, or 6 be divided by 2 evenly? 5 divided by 2 is not simple because it's 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. Oh, wait, look. Right here. Again, you had 3 zeros minus 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. That's where they got the 2 zeros. Okay, again, compatible numbers. All right, number 20. An orchard. At an orchard, 486 green apples are to be organized in 12 different green baskets. And so 486, we're going to be divided in, it was going to be organized into 12 baskets. 633 we're going to be organized into 31 red baskets. Use estimation to decide which color basket has more apples. Okay, so this is going to be my green and this is going to be my red. All right, so let's look at my green first. What can I make my 12 into? Okay, make it a 10. So then 10, or really this right here, can 10 make 40? Excuse me, 480 or 48? It could. You can also even say that could be, look at the number 486. Could I divide that and make that, or excuse me, estimate that and make that a 500? Sure I could. So what's 5 divided by 1? 5. 2 zeros minus 1 0 is 2 zeros minus 1 0 is 1 0. Okay. Here, changing my 31 to probably 30. So then this, can 3 make 6? Yes, it can. So go ahead and do 600. Okay, so we've got 6 divided by 30, or excuse me, 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 zeros minus 1 0 is 1 0. So looking at this, going back, use estimation to decide which color basket has more. Which color basket has more, green or red? And it's green. And how many apples are in there? Green wins 50. Green wins 50. Okay, so again, looking at how I did that, making sure both of these need to be written. This needs to be written. This needs to be written. Even so much so under the 2 and the 1. I've gotten the 2 and the 1 to remind yourself what you're doing here. Those need to be written, just like I've written. Okay, we're almost done. Onik built a tower of cubes. It was 594 millimeters tall. The height of each cube was 17 millimeters. About how many cubes did Anik use? Okay. Okay. So Anik built this tower of cubes. It was 594 meters tall. The height of each cube was 17. About how much cubes? So I would be taking out, I want to find what one cube, or how many cubes did he use. So about how many, again, we're estimating. So 594 is being divided by 17. I could solve this, but I want to use compatible numbers to make it a easier problem to solve. So again, I'm going to do it this way. 594 divided by 17. So 17, I can make a 20. So 2, I can't make in, so, oh, I'm so sorry. So 594 divided by 17, I've changed 17 into 20. Can 2 and 5 be compatible? No. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. Is this close to a 600? Absolutely. So 6 divided by 2 is going to be my 3. 2 zeros minus 1 0 is 1 0. Is this an answer over here? It absolutely is. Okay, what you're going to do in your gold pages, you're going to use your compatible numbers and find 2 estimates. 2 estimates. So I will even do the first one for you, or the first one with you. Okay, so I'm looking at 42. Again, I would do this the horizontal way. What can I make 42 into? I would change it to 40. Okay, so then 39. Well, 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 9 is 36. That's getting closer. 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 9 is 36. That would work. So 36 divided by 4 is 9. 1 0 minus 1 0 is no zeros. Okay. Second one, change it to keep it to 40. So that was 36. So that was times 9. What is 4 times 10? 40. Is that close to 400? Ah, wow, absolutely. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 2 zeros minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay, so that's what I mean by 2 estimates. I want 2 problems that look like this. Again, use compatible numbers to estimate the quotient. Literally, I want to see you do this. What can I change 84 to? All right, I'm going to change it to 80. Oh, man, look. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 9 is 72. How awesome is that? There you go. 72 divided by 8 is 9. 2 zeros minus 1 0. 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay, you've got your word problems 12 and 13. On the back again, you have 14 through 19. If you notice, every single one of these is simply estimating, okay? About how many, about how many. So again, it's not true division. It's just estimating using compatible numbers. That's the big thing you have to understand, is compatible numbers. Okay, you're going to tear out 2.5, make sure your name is on it, and you're going to turn it into the file folder on the table.